it would affect how we move forward on it, in my opinion. Which,
Well, we called Dan now right this morning, see if we can't set up something.
yeah, because to your point, I'm in agreement. Now it's the Wild Wild West.
Mhm.
I try to make sure that whatever I do is within, if I think I've got something, I would approach the township if I thought, you know, and that's the way it should be. We don't want, you know, I'm gonna regrade all my roads and, I don't like the stormwater drain that comes across my property, so I'm gonna plug it, you know? I'm gonna force it all into Carroll Valley and let them deal with it, right? It's like, oh, yeah, that's not, that ain't, I know we're all in agreement on that one.
Yeah.
Now, I will be going to a bunch of, training over the next 2 months, so I have 2 this week, two at the end of this month, and then 3 in March before we go up to Hershey. So I am gonna try and use that, as an opportunity to start and go, how do you do this? And I have a feeling the answer it's the same everywhere, but.
Right. You talking about the borough coach meeting?
And the PSATs, yeah, I'm doing both.
Yeah.
I figured when you helped me go to the borough one, and I thought Jason was excellent, and so I'd like to attend some more of those. But the PSAT stuff's sort of the one-on-ones, bread and butter, what I need to learn.
Well, this will start our, special meeting. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Barlow,
Yeah.
Mr. Holt,
Here.
Mr. Hill.
Here.
Any public comment? Seeing no public comment, we'll move on to supervisor comment.
So just with regards to this HR payroll, I think that as we've talked about, we got a gap in our program. We're actually, you know, with attracting the right people. So as you know, I've been a big proponent of being able to provide health insurance. I think the 2 things that we can do to provide health care and flexibility to try and get the right people in. So I'm in favor of us developing a program that employees can have health insurance paid by the township to attract the right talent and keep the right talent. So that's my comment on what we're looking at.
Okay. Any other comments from supervisors?
I'll agree.
Okay, we're moving on to new business. The first one we have, well, let's just do the, we're
Mr.
getting.
Barlow, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. Do you want to announce that you had an executive session?
Yeah, so we had an executive session prior to this at 8:30, 9 o'clock to discuss personnel issues and hiring processes within Liberty Township. We had 2 applicants, we have 1 applicant we're going to look at here today. We have Mr. Dan Keller, is an operator, equipment operator, labor position, that he submitted an application and has agreed to take the position under the conditions that we discussed with him during the interview process. I would make a motion that we would hire him under those conditions, that his rate and set his rate of pay at $26 an hour to start.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr.
And
Barlow,
it's not,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear, was he, did you hire him in a certain amount of hours? I missed that.
full-time.
Full-time, thank you. Thank you.
Starting employment on January 19th.
January 19th, you said?
Yeah. He's available to start working January 19th. I have a second applicant for a full-time position also, but that's not something we're going to consider at this point in time, I believe. For a road crew training foreman position, same rate of pay, $26 an hour, full-time position. But that's still to be discussed and acted
Who's
on.
that?
That'd be Devin Barlow, my son. That he's the only applicant that we put in, but again, that's another thing. I did speak with him last night. He's not willing to take the position as a part-time position. Because he already has a full-time job with benefits. Okay. So as of right now, we have no other person that has applied for the position. So that's where we're at.
Do we have anything advertised?
We've
Does
been
do
advertising,
people know this?
we've been advertising, how long have we been advertising, Wendy?
I don't know what you're talking about. We have, there's just a general advertisement on the website that's probably been up for over a year saying we need road crew, we need police. There's no specifics.
Well, that's not going anywhere.
And then we've been putting them in every month in the Image
In your
Journal.
newsletter.
In the newsletter, Image Journal, it has been, so we've got no response. Talk to
We
people
put
many
an
times.
ad in the journal? We did?
Yeah. Yep.
How long do we run that? Just one issue or?
No, every month, every month I mention it in there, every single month. And,
I never saw it. I never looked at
and,
health.
so we're getting no applicants for that, as I said, over the last 5 months, I've been trying to work on the job descriptions and stuff like that, and talk to applicants all over the place, and it's the same thing, nobody, it's just difficult, nobody, wants to take on a laborer's position with the pay that we can pay, at that time, we have no benefits, and so we got no applicants.
Wendy, what does it cost for us to do a direct mailing, like when we do a mailing out to, like the recent mailing that we talked to Bob Champion to the township, what did that run us?
About $700, but we only send to 500 homes.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, that I have talked to Wendy about and I've been working on, like I said, I went around to 5 different townships and I got criteria for their jobs, for their, full-time, road crew, operator, different labor positions, I'll say for, road masters positions, stuff like that, and try to critique their descriptions to ours, to submit to, labor and industry, to try to get help that way or applicants that way.
Yeah.
And that's a process in itself because, so, like I said, to ask for someone to come in under what the requirements are, it's hard to get someone to come and do that for what we're offering to pay when we have surrounding municipalities who are starting people out at $30 an hour.
Who's starting to people out $30 an hour?
Highland Township.
Highland is? But that's only part-time.
That's only part-time for them because they ain't offering benefits.
Right.
Yeah, but you got Carroll Valley. You can check yourself in Carroll Valley. I meet with the president of Carroll Valley once a month. And he tells me that they're starting their team out. They're starting their team out really good with a full benefit package.
What's Hamilton Van? Because I know we were paying more than Hamilton Van.
We were paying more than Hamilton Van.
Yeah,
I know
sure
that.
were, because when we were doing that tree work, we got to talking about it up there when we took a break.
I don't know what Hamilton Van's paying off of that. I know they're paying their road master $33.50 an hour, $34 an hour. And their other full-time employees at $26 something an hour with full benefits, 100%.
Well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, 100 for themselves and their families, 3 weeks of vacation, the whole 9 yards. They got, like
Yeah, but I
I
think
said,
so one thing, observation for me being the new guy, right, is that, it's easy to go to the money part. I think we could have the best chocolate in the world, but if we don't let people know it and get it out there, then people won't ever buy our product, kind of thing. And I think that's part of the problem is that we need to figure, like I know that with my brother's business, right, recruiting is so hard, to say, hey, look, come join this really manual process where you're dealing with asphalt, you're gonna be on a tarmac and it's gonna be 90 degrees and you're pouring asphalt at 140. It's a wonderful career, you're smelling, it's tough, right? And so you need to figure out where those people are and so the recruiting on this one's gonna be tough.
it's tough.
But thinking that we're gonna get somebody from an article or our website, it's not gonna happen. So we need to figure out, and this is something that would be tabled. I think that we have a number of areas here, like in the township, where education about what the road master does, what the road department does. We're looking for people, and how that's something I'll take offline to figure out what we would do there. But I think part of our problem is, and I think you're doing a great job by through your networking. I get that, but we're talking to everybody that already has a job.
Yeah, everybody's laid off and looking at going back.
Yeah.
One of the things I'd say too is, and we'll just take our two municipalities that are kind of in size that we're at, and that'd be Highland and Freedom Township, which we have been on domestic agreements with. They have one, we'll take Highland first. Highland has one guy, he's 78 years old. He lives in York City, or York County. They're paying him $30+ an hour to be on call as needed, but he only comes in on certain things. And if he gets called, he's guaranteed certain. If he gets called, he's getting somebody else. But the thing is, they have farmed out, which is what we did too, here in Liberty Township at Point. When I first got in here, they farm out all the work.
Well, that's
all the work.
kind of what I was wondering is sort of, again, just spitballing here. We got a problem. We outsource our police department. Is there a way that, well, look, if Freedom Island already has a crew, you could stay roadmaster, and then you just oversee somebody else that comes in and does all the work for us, and we just pay them on an as-needed basis.
Well, I will tell you, here's an example. When I first got here, it was just Brian, and then I worked it as needed, and we ended up working on almost full-time hours. When it came, like for the winter months and stuff like that, we farmed out all of the snow plowing. Brian and I, if it was a little thing, like little
You
snow
could do
plowing,
yourself.
we did. We had the Seth Snyder, and Dan Snyder is at $125 an hour to come in to help the snow plowing. Mr. Hobbs over here, Andy Hobbs and Jimmy Hobbs, they were also subcontractors for us to help plow, and we did use them, and I believe they were $125 to $140 an hour. Now they're supplying their equipment.
But
Yeah.
that was extreme snow.
It was stuff that we got to a point we couldn't handle,
Yeah.
and that did happen. It happened a couple of times that we were here. We
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Early 2000, we got 3 feet of snow.
yeah, we were
Run
doing
full
that.
time.
Yeah, so we were doing that, and but like Highland Town, so they don't have a full-time person at all. They farm everything out
To whom?
to anyone, to the paving projects and the road, that's all paid, that's all farmed out. And you're not getting that at $26 an hour.
No,
You're
you're gonna
getting
pay, absolutely, you're gonna pay a premium to outsource
that-
it.
Right, the same way with Freedom Township, they got one part-time employee, he's been there forever. And he does weed whacking, he's a weed whacking king. I'll tell you right now, that weed whacking king. But that's pretty much all he does. He does a little bit of snow plowing, but he does no road maintenance, zero.
Yeah, well, that's
That's-
that's a set,
That's their choice.
yeah.
It is their choice because they have the finances to do those kind of things, and they don't have to deal with the employee aspect and the benefit program, and all that stuff. It's easier for them, I guess.
So do they own any trucks? Do they have
Yeah.
any of the
They
infrastructure?
have some stuff there, but they don't.
It's just getting dusty.
Stevie Long is running their plowing there.
Yes.
Now, he's a part-time, they just pay him by the hour. I'm sure it's, substantial, because he has his own.
And see, that's, the thing is, we did the intermunicipal agreement with both those townships to help them out. We did do some work with them this past year, with Mike, a great guy. And we just charged them for our hours that we were out there, and whatever our employees were being paid. Myself, Bobby, and we just passed, when we did that, me, Bobby, Russ was out there, and Bruce.
So I just want to take it off the table then Highland, whoever, they're probably not resourced for us to be like, look, hey, we need to use our, leverage this intermunicipal agreement you want to manage our roads for us? There's not really somebody that we could do that with that's in the family right now, that's staffed, that they've got excess capacity that we can hand it to.
They don't even have a full-time person at all.
Yeah, we're probably better off than they would, right, today.
In that capacity, yes.
Yeah, alright. So the outsourcing option for us would be kind of as you pointed out, sure, we could go subcontract with some people to do this work, but we're gonna be paying I'm just gonna say $150 an hour.
Like I
Just
said,
to
we were
leverage.
paying $125 to $150 an hour back in 2016. So that was 10 years ago. So I tell you right now,
Did we get quotes from Hobbs or anybody on backup plowing this year?
no, I didn't do any of that. Nope, nobody got any of that. goes like
We
that.
would just get some odd numbers, you know, I mean, if we're, anyhow.
But, like I said, so anyhow, we have to, moving forward, we have to decide if we are going to staff, the township road department, with more than one full-timer, or we're gonna leave it status quo as it is, and as people come and go, you may end up, you may end up, like Barbara said, you can take this job in 2 weeks from now, tell us, you know what, this ain't working out, I got something better, I'm gone.
Well, that's any,
That is it.
you know, that's any job, right? So, anybody can walk, it's an at-will state, right? We can, the flip side, we can let them go if it's not working out too, we're in the same boat, so.
Right.
It could be our fault and self-inflicted, right? So,
Right, so, the next thing we have here today is the employee benefit package, as we already had discussed in the executive session, but anyhow, to offer benefits through the PSAT's health insurance program, to the employees. Go ahead.
yeah, before we move on though, I just want an outcome from that. Like, so I get what we just talked about. What do we need to do to get an actionable, something to work on out of that discussion on what our requirements are? As an outsider, should I just take a look at it and be like, hey, I think this is some options that we need to evaluate. I think you guys kind of have probably some ideas. Can we do an executive session to kind of bang out a plan? Because it seems like there is a gaping hole potentially here.
Well, we're moving as we age out, and that's how I'm gonna put it, age out, because
I agree.
we're aging out of working and not, and wanting some freedom to be able to do whatever we wanna do. We have a responsibility, I believe, to the township to leave it in a better position than we came, which we have.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think we should drop the ball right here and say, okay, we're gonna age out, and you know what, you guys can still figure out how to work this.
Now you're back to where you were,
Then
right?
you're back down to the same place you are. That's not, I don't think that's responsible for one. And I've talked to many residents in this township, as you well know, I talk to them all the time. And they are aware that for us to maintain and to keep, the township keeps evolving. And for us here, and the needs of the township keep evolving. And as that happens, that means the personnel has to go with the change too. What we used to do in the past, we can't accomplish moving forward if everything keeps moving forward the way it is. You know, we're gonna need more than one full-time person, in the road department, as the road department gets more responsibility they need to do.
So it sounds like we need to develop a short-term and a longer-term strategic plan for the road department. I'll call it just a road infrastructure, right? Because it's,
See, the thing we have here too, Chris, is not only is the road department, if you define road department, you look in your second class code and you read exactly the position of the road master and what he does, it is definitely defined what goes on there. And some of these things, what we've done here in Liberty Township, and I think other townships over the years have done the same thing, they use the road crew people to do everything from road work to building maintenance, to equipment maintenance, to ground maintenance, and all these things. That's not technically what a road crew is,
no, I would agree. I get it.
you know? And we have lumped that all in here in one position. And we had to try to even move, like I said, you know, if you look at Carroll Valley, you look at some of the other townships, what they're doing, well, we'll just take Carroll Valley. I mean, they're a big township. How many road people do they have in Oak Creek? Carroll Valley?
4 or 5, I'm not sure.
Four or five, but they also have people that are designated, they work on building maintenance, they work on the parks. Those are defined. Now, what they do is they pull off.
No, but that's all under the road department.
It's all under Dave Hazlett that runs the road department.
I know they get out there and they mulch around the township
They do
building,
all kinds
they
of
do
stuff.
all that
Yes,
stuff.
they do.
And
They
I
do
don't
also-
wanna define or limit a full-time person to, this is, you're gonna change oil and plow snow or whatever.
Right.
I agree with you.
Well, I agree with that too. That's what we've been typically doing. But the thing is, you've got one person doing 5 people's jobs.
Well, wait, there's two ways to look at that, right? They're doing 5 people's jobs.
And I'm just
But is
doing
that-
that, that's not actually.
Yeah, but is that 5 like types of jobs, or is it 5 people's like 40 hours a week, 20 hours, 200 hours a week jobs? That's the thing. So, yeah, so if it's five people's jobs, then we just sort of need to have a blank. To your point, a blanket. You're going to do more than just operate a backhoe. We're going to mulch. We're going to do all these things, and that's really what. And so it's whatever we want to call it. Infrastructure includes landscaping. Let's say.
And typically what we've done is your road crew is pretty much done, you know, you got one guy's doing the backhoe work and then doing that was Bruce. And then Bruce didn't do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Because he physically didn't want to do it. But he would help out. So he would help out.
So this is a good question, because this is something I've been struggling with for the past year and a half. So I'm going to step out of this topic just to talk something about high level. And I'm hoping to learn about this in the next couple months. But what I understand, the way I sort of see the township run and the way that we do things, we talk about these things, but it's not by our fault. It's the structure of how we're allowed to talk about stuff.
Correct.
So we can do it in a public forum, which is awesome, but there are like the strategic things that we need to think about. So I'm going to use this as an example. It sounds like to me we kind of need to look at this a little bit, double click into the problem, which is we have a staffing problem, we have allocation of what this job's supposed to be, what are we really covering with all of this sort of stuff, and then what our requirements are. And it's difficult for me to get my hands around what forum is it appropriate to be like, hey guys, let's dig into this, roll up our sleeves and be like, this is what we need to address. We think it's 2 people, we think it's where's the forum for doing that? Because we can kind of discuss things in executive session, but I'm not sure to do certain sunshine things of what we're allowed to do.
Well, if you go by all that, we got to discuss everything in a public forum.
Okay, so in this meeting,
If you go that way, you know, that's kind of where you get locked in, as you said. You get locked in, and you know, because someone can say, oh, you know, you did this and you did that, and you didn't do it in a public forum. That becomes, like you said, it's very difficult to really hash out what your needs are. And, you know, everybody has different opinions, and you get hot, you know, everybody does me, I get pretty wound up.
you're passionate. That's it.
Passionate.
Just passionate.
You know, is that something we want to display in a public forum? Probably not. But that's how you hammer stuff out.
Okay, all right, then that makes sense. So I think that across the township, there are a number of things that we need to sit down in a public forum to figure out, and that is, you know, just how we conduct business. This is a great example for us to dig into on this, because I think it's a challenge. I completely agree with you guys that we're about to age out, and we're going to be in a problem where we haven't filled out a really good way to backfill what these positions are. And then what does that look like? And how does it look, either outsourcing, insourcing, whatever we do, we got to figure it out. And we have other departments that we probably need to look at as
One
well.
of the things, you know, is continue to hire other people that are already retired to fill in our positions. We're doing the same thing. They're aging out too.
Yeah, so we're always going to be trying to play catch up.
Always trying to catch up. I mean, I know we're trying to save money and get the cheapest we can get to get the job done, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna, we'll get the best job for the best.
So with that one, I would say that at least I think the step with the benefits and the flexibility plan, we're taking a first step in the right direction to recruit younger talent that would be incentivized to come in here and help and take over. So I think we're taking the right step, but then we need to figure out, like you're saying, I think, is what's the job responsibility for these people? Because historically, again, I'm trying to make sure I articulate how we got here, is that we've had the roadmaster, and then we have like Bruce, who had a very specific task, but he wasn't necessarily doing everything, and you guys have filled that gap on a part-time basis, right? You guys have been the gurus that go out and plug all the dike holes while it's going on, and there's no job description for that role,
Yeah.
right?
No, it's just anything.
We have to remain flexible.
You just do everything.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Right, so what we need to figure out moving forward then under these, we have one head count, so we're about to hire that head out, we need to move ahead with that, we're about to address that. But in the background, I think we also need to figure out, like, how do we plug these dike holes like we talked about? And then how does that impact the budget, right? Because, alright, so at some point, I don't know if it's now, we need to figure that one out. Because this problem ain't going away.
It's not going away.
It may just get worse.
You know, and like I said, you know, I as I've said over the last couple of years, you know, I'm I'm not in a position where I have to step away. I don't have anything medically saying I need to step out. Would I like to start being in a lesser role and turn it over to someone else? Absolutely.
Yeah, and we need to prepare for that.
We definitely need to be prepared for that because
Well, I think this year with the people we named at a reorg meeting, hopefully we'll do those things. I think we got some good people in there, and organizations to help us with permits, enforcement, zoning, all those sort of things. I'm hoping. I mean, that's yet to see. Personally, I was extremely disappointed with PMCA. That didn't work.
Yeah. But that's not our infrastructure issue, which is
no.
basically who's gonna go put patchwork on a road and a pothole and all that. Like, we gotta figure that one out, cause like what you guys saying, no part-timer's gonna be like, yeah, let me drop what I'm doing on a full-time job so I come over and help you guys fix a ditch because a storm came through and blew out a bunch of stuff, right?
That's pretty much where we're at, yeah. And like I said, you know, anytime we look at part-timers, we're pretty much, the way it's been going, is we're pretty much at they tell us when they work, and we, okay, we'll work around.
Yeah, I'm available, right? That's,
Yeah, and, you know, and that's understandable when you're a part-time person, and, you know, if they have something else they wanna do and it doesn't line up what we wanna do, it might be, and I'm just using an example, you know, maybe Bobby wants, you know, he's got something going on Tuesday and Thursdays, and then Bruce has got something going on Monday and Wednesday, well, that kinda gives me, well, how am I supposed to schedule?
Right now, Thursday afternoon, as you know, is the only day.
Well, I understand, but that's what I'm saying, you know. So what if I get in this retirement, because I'm forced, you know, coming in June, I have to do this retirement goal crap. And, okay, so what do I say? Okay, you know what, I decided I'm gonna retire too, and I'm gonna bowl, or I'm gonna be on the pool beat or something other, and it's on this day and this day. Well, guess what? Now I'm working your schedule, I'm working my schedule, and if we have another part-timer working with his schedule, we don't get nothing done.
so the action item I think comes out of this is sort of this, we're, the way I see it is we need to move ahead with the FTE, the full-time employee, now as we've kind of deemed it out. I think we probably need to go back and look at the budget and be like, figure out what fiscally we can actually do or not do,
Yes.
right? From a
Yes.
numbers perspective, can we move some numbers around to fill a gap, or as I mentioned earlier, was making an investment for the future to cover this issue that you've identified, right?
Well, our 26 budget is our 26 budget.
Yeah,
Line items are set.
yeah.
That's the unfortunate.
Well, the budget is set. How we fluctuate the money around in the budget is totally up to the supervisors.
Yeah. Alright, so we need to figure that one out, so, got it. So I think the action item is we're gonna now talk about an FTE and the plan for that, and then, I don't know if we have to have another executive session, or not executive session, but however we do it, what's the plan? It may, to your point, Bobby, it may be, we're gonna work on, we're just gonna be stopgap and, you know, I'm filling in, you're filling in, we can. It's that way for this year, but we need to build a plan for 27 that says, this is how we're gonna fill this gap, because in 27, we're gonna be looking at you now, moving back, and so 28, 29, 30, that's when this boil's gonna burst and we need to address it, right?
That's exactly how I see it.
Okay,
Is we're gonna be in a position where we have no one here, or very limited, and, then we don't have any employees to do the work that needs to be done.
and so that's the action item, the way that we get that work done, again, because I'm the new guy and I don't understand everything, is that we need to have another public meeting where we would hash this stuff out in camera and people here.
Specifically, to be honest with, if my understanding is correct, if we're specifically talking about employee and hiring and retention, we can do that in an executive session, we do not have to do that as a, anytime we talk in employee matters, we do not have to do that in public forum.
Okay, what about?
Any decision we make has to be done in the public forum.
Yeah, I think that I'm more just talking about, let's brainstorm some ideas, let's figure out how we get, because I actually think this is a really good exercise, because I think we kind of did it with the permitting and that, we kind of got ourselves to an area that I think we could fill a couple holes that we had. We're kind of, what I don't want to do is, we could have done that quicker and faster and cheaper, maybe, and more effectively, if we had had a form. I think we need to do the same thing here, to be like, okay, so how do we fix these gaps in our road program? And maybe if we could do that in executive session, offline, so we could work through some ideas before we talk about it in front of the public. That's how I would like to do it, if we can. Because I just think throwing out bullshit, bunch of, BS ideas, in front of a bunch of people while we're, suddenly you've got a committee and a bunch of people provided input who may or may not understand all of the details. And now it's like, you can't get anywhere. I think we have to kind of put together a plan that says, here are the 3 options that we're evaluating, and then bring that to public comment to be like, hey, this is kind of where, if you've got some ideas, we're more than willing for the public to provide. If you've got a 4th thing you think we need to look at, great, but we have to analyze the situation internally, and we've got outsourcing, insourcing, do nothing, right? And do nothing is a real problem for the community.
Yeah, some of the things too, and I'll let you know, just for information, is, and I'll just take for the training programs that are available for the road department. For the road scholar 1, there's Road Scholar 1, there's Road Scholar 2. Road Scholar 1, it's a 3-year program that you have your employee in the road department. When I first come here, there was the Road Scholar program was in effect, but nobody was taking it. Even though we had an employee who was a full-time employee, had been here for 20 plus years, she did not take any of the certification classes. But we went through the Road Scholar program. Road Scholar 1 is a 3-year program. You have to make so many classes within a 3-year period. You have to pass that 70%. And that's training from road management, road estimating, project management, ditching, culvert pipes, requirements, what is allowed law in the townships allowed to do as far as tree removals and the pipe, all kinds of stuff. Flag enforcement, that's one of the classes. There's a lot of classes that you can take in that 2-year period to get certified, get certificates, and I have all those certificates. Then they just came up a couple of years ago with another, now it's called Road Scholar 2. That is more advanced. That's where you're doing budgetary things for the road department, estimating, so that's another whole class.
Yeah,
So
well,
it really, in reality, if you wanna take all the classes, be certified in all the different aspects of road department, it's a 6-year project.
Well, that's fundamentally what I've now seen, as an open comment, is that fundamentally what we have this issue is at a high level is there's no like business operations, like Carroll Valley, they've got a borough manager that's looking at administratively all of these things. And my assessment is at the township level, we're not set up for that sort of stuff. It's like we've got this pocket does this pocket does, and then there's all of these. It's like the dam that flows over, and as all these other things come up, like we aren't keeping track. We don't have an HR policy. We don't have someone who's administrating. Our program is you need to do Roadmaster 1. Roadmaster 2 is optional, we don't pay for that, blah, blah, whatever it is, and somebody who watches the store. It's sort of like in your head, you know all the things that need to be done, but, and then to like what's going on with the Secretary of Treasury and the office management, on like from an HR, like, there's nobody checking to make sure, do we have we have everything, I'm not saying we don't, but I'm using these as examples. An employee checklist, how we on board for this, how we get all the benefits set up, all that, like there's no one that handles all that stuff, and that's like, there are these issues that I see in the township, and it's just difficult to talk about because it's like we're not structured to go in and roll up our sleeves and be like, here's how we fix things, right? It's like, you come to an open session and, okay, we're gonna table that. And maybe that's how the gears of government work, but it just seems super inefficient to me.
Well, what has happened is in municipalities and townships is they've been run by, like you said, local people that put in part-time hours as they could. And unfortunately, those years have passed. People can't dedicate that kind of time and energy, especially on the requirements that the feds and the state has put upon townships to be in charge of it, to run it, and to oversight. You can't do that like that.
No, this is a business, right? And if I think of a business that ran this way, it would be out of business in 6 months. No, I don't mean that. It's an overstatement, but it's just like there's just some inefficiencies on how things get executed that I would like to try and figure out, because I think there are gaps that we've got to figure out, and these are gaps that we've talked about, and I think they're gaps that you both have known about for years. But fixing it is a challenge.
It's a real challenge.
Yeah, and it's not just the recruiting and the monetary, it's just sort of like functionally, how do we change the organizational structure to do it? That's a conversation for a different day, but something that I think this is a good way that it shines a light on, okay, so how do we strategically plan for, we hire this individual, if we so choose, then we have to figure out a gap for getting a new roadmaster, training that roadmaster, and then it looks like this in 2028 kind of thing. So, how we get there, I don't know.
So we did the hiring, that's done, correct, Wendy?
Yep.
The other thing we have is B, consider adjusting personnel benefits, as we've already discussed.
Yeah.
I'm in favor that we offer 100% coverage by the township for our employees, full-time, working a minimum of 35 hours a week. And then 80-20 for the family plan, the spouse and family plan.
Second.
In favor for that?
Alright.
Alright, so that was our topic here for today. Today's meeting, we can, if we have anything else to discuss,
What is the effective date?
what's the effective date?
The 19th? The 19th, effective date of,
Oh, the benefit?
January 1.
January
January
1.
1. Yeah.
So retroactive.
Right
Yeah.
back from January 1. Yeah, and as of right now, the only person who would qualify for that would be Wendy Crack.
And Terry.
And Terry.
Okay.
I thought you said he was on insurance.
He is.
But he qualifies.
But he
We're
qualifies.
just talking about whether
Alright.
people qualify.
Yeah, he is.
It doesn't mean they're gonna do it, just means they qualify.
Yes, that's all we're talking about.
And then the new hire.
And the new hire.
Would be.
So that's 3 total. We've
But
heard.
if he does,
Hmm?
If he
but
does.
if he does, I'll
Exactly.
take it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's 3. We have potentially 3 right now.
Correct.
That qualify. Positions. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so the one thing I would say, yeah.
And we have it within our budget, the ability to do this because, as Wendy and I discussed before, in our budget process, we put in, for employee, with the potential that we would go this direction, we put in money in there
Okay.
to cover some of these expenses.
Okay.
For benefits for, the employees of the township.
Okay, right, that's all I wanted to make sure. I don't wanna buy stuff we can't afford.
Yeah.
Right, Bobby? Alright,
Alright, so anything else, you guys, while we're here in the public forum, cause we,
well, I think that action item that I would like to take out of it, again, goes back to what we were just sort of talking about, is how do we, let's just work on figuring out this roadmaster issue, not roadmaster issue, but our plan for moving forward for a strategic, how do we fill this gap that we've identified? I guess we need to meet, the supervisors need to meet to kind of handle that out. That has to happen in a public forum, so be it, I'm fine, but if we can figure out some basics of our own, I'm happy to do some background, like, while I'm doing this training, how do other people do it, right? I can ask a bunch of people, but I think we need to talk about that, because I think we didn't solve any problems today on figuring out, like, what are we gonna do?
No.
no, like I said, I believe moving forward with the township, for the future, we're gonna have to have at least 2 people in the road department, not only for safety's a big one, one of the big ones, but that they can work together, and they can work all year long together, not just as projects come up or as things show itself and needs to be addressed. These are things that can be worked upon every day.
And then Bobby, you're fiscally, that's just something that you're like, I don't think we got work for 2 people full time. Right? So I just wanna make sure those are on the record to be like, so we got a want, but we can't afford the want.
That's exactly where I stand.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure we got that out there, right?
That's
So,
exactly where I stand.
yeah. So unless we are able to figure out and say this is really 80 hours worth of work, we're in a bit of a pickle. So that's what I wanted to try to figure out how we do it.
Yeah.
Alright, that's my comment on that. I just wanted to wrap that up and then I'm gonna be a little, fly in the ointment or be on the honey kind of thing on being like coming up with some ideas and then trying to drive that we can get to, something that's actionable that we can all agree on. Right?
Alright, other than that, if we don't have anything else to discuss, we will adjourn this meeting at